Then we'll just turn to the Word. We will sing a couple more songs again, but we felt like 2 songs was not enough. We will sing again. But we are looking today at John chapter 6. We've been spending a lot of time in the Gospel of John. Again, if this is your first time, we spend many weeks in Jesus' farewell words in John 14 to 17. And now this summer, we're just looking at kind of more or less random incidences in the life of Jesus from the Gospel of John. Last 2 weeks, we looked at some critical conversations that Jesus had with some individuals. Today we're back to Jesus kind of being in dialogue with bigger groups and the reactions that different groups of people are having to Jesus, and how Jesus is going to challenge them, in fact, very, very severely, to the extent that some people decide they just aren't going to stick with Jesus because it's not fitting together for them, and so they're going to abandon Jesus, but others will not. John chapter 6 begins with a familiar story. It's the one miracle story that is found in all 4 Gospels, and that's the story where Jesus multiplies the bread and the fish and feeds 5,000 plus people. So it says after some time, Jesus crossed the far shore of the Sea of Galilee. So his home base is in Capernaum on the west side of the Sea of Galilee. That's where he's living as an adult. The far side is the east side, so they've probably taken boats over there, and so they're on that side. But a great crowd of people have followed him because they've been, hearing about these signs, these miracles that he has been doing. And this is the day before the internet and Netflix and so forth, and so there's not a lot of other entertainment. So if there's someone doing something exciting, then they're gonna come along. So people are following Jesus for lots and lots of different reasons. Some good, some probably not so good. But they followed Jesus, thousands of them. But Jesus went up on the mountainside and sat down with the disciples. John tells us the Jewish Passover was near. Now, in one sense, that little incident doesn't have anything to do with this story. We could understand, in a sense, what happens in the story without knowing that Passover is near. So John gives us that little detail from the side, almost like parentheses. It probably actually is important, and it's a way of saying this whole incident that's going to happen, the feeding, and then Jesus teaching on the basis of it, has some relationship to the Passover. That is, when the lamb was killed and God delivered his people. Okay, so that's just this little hint of details we need to keep in mind as we read this story, that we should read it in light of the Jewish Passover. So Jesus looks up, sees this crowd, and he says to one of his disciples, Philip, we're going to get bread for all these people. And John tells us that Jesus was testing his disciples. He knew what was going to happen. Okay? That's kind of comforting to me, because I'm often like those disciples. I'm kind of clueless. I don't quite know what's going on, and I'm not quite sure what Jesus is up to. But it's good to reassure myself that Jesus actually does have some clue. I'm often clueless. Jesus might just be clued in, and he might have a plan. In any case, that's happening here. So he asked Philip, where are we going to get bread for all these people? But he already had in mind what was going to happen. So Philip says, well, 8 months' wages wouldn't buy enough bread for each one to have a bite to eat. Not high wages, but it would take lots and lots of money by that time period just to buy enough bread so that everyone could get, a couple bites of bread. In other words, no one is walking around with that kind of money. Okay, Jesus doesn't have that kind of money on him, and none of the disciples have that kind of money on them. Most of these people probably haven't come with a lot of money with them. Okay, there's not that kind of money to buy bread for these people. So Philip says that, probably thinking, I don't even know why I'm saying these words. It's obvious. But another disciple, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, says, well, hey, there's a boy. He's got 5 small barley loaves and 2 small fish, probably a couple like pickled fish to give to help the bread go down, because the bread is probably a little bit dry by now. So he says, look, there's this, but Andrew is probably, his words are coming out of his mouth, he's probably thinking, why am I saying this? This is just stupid. This isn't going to do any good. It's 5 loaves of bread. Seriously, 5,000 men plus some women and children. So there could be as many as 10,000 plus people. So Andrew just says this, and again, probably thinking, that was stupid. I don't know why I just said that. What is that going to do? How will that feed these people? Andrew said. So Jesus says, have the people sit down. There's grass there. They sit down in groups. We're told in the other Gospels. Jesus blesses the food, or actually what that means is he gives thanks to God for the food. He thanks the Father for this food, probably using a traditional Jewish prayer. And he begins to break the bread and give it to the disciples, and the disciples are giving it to all the people. So Jesus took the loaves, gave thanks, and distributed to those who were seated as much as they wanted. Did the same with the fish. And when they all had enough, thousands of people, he said, gather up the pieces that are left over, let nothing be wasted. Again, if you're familiar with the story, we hear that they gathered up 12 baskets of leftovers. These are probably fairly big baskets, not just like a little, pouch that you carry your own lunch in. Decent-sized baskets are filled with the leftovers of the bread and fish. This is kind of the verse I want you to just keep in your mind, throughout this sermon. And if we forget most of my words, just if we could get this concept drilled in, and then the spiritual truth that is based on this. So Jesus took the loaves. This is verse 11. Jesus took the loaves. Having given thanks, he distributed to those who were seated. Likewise also with the fish, as much as they wanted. As much as they wanted. As much as they wanted. Everyone had plenty to eat. As much as they wanted. Okay, 5,000 plus people, as much as they wanted. Jesus gave the bread as much as they wanted. They were filled, and 12 baskets left over. Okay. There was plenty of bread and fish. Plenty of bread and fish. Leftover bread and fish. Some of it might have turned green in weeks to come. There was so much. Okay? There was more than enough bread and fish. So the people see this miracle. They want to make him king. And there's a lot of details in chapter 6. It's a long, long chapter. It's like 70 verses. So I'm not going to talk about each verse. That's good news. I'm trying to keep things short enough. So there's a lot of details that are going to happen, but they try to make Jesus king, and he's not interested in being their kind of king. Okay, he's not living according to their agenda. So he hides himself, and then the next incident is disciples are going back across the sea in a boat. Jesus walks on water and so forth, and though that's a great story, that's not the story for this morning. But what's going to happen is, based on this miracle in making bread, Jesus is going to have a long, long interaction with a group of people about this bread and the meaning of this bread and the meaning of this miracle. And so in the Gospel of John, chapter 6 is kind of a package, and the miracle is connected to Jesus' dialogue with people. Now, one connection that is made is this, and a lot of kind of standard church ways of reading this story, and a lot of commentators, is that this story, the feeding of the 5,000, it is about the Lord's Supper. That's what the miracle is about. And the discussion is about the Lord's Supper. The Lord's Supper doesn't actually happen in John chapter 6. Okay, but commentators make this connection often that, this is what Jesus or what John 6 is talking about. For some commentators, they think that John actually made up the story. It didn't even happen. But John wanted to teach something about the Lord's Supper, so he took this incident to make up his own story to teach something about the Lord's Supper. Okay, but that's kind of standard, just simply to say this miracle and the dialogue is about the Lord's Supper. And of course, we're having, communion here, so you might think, oh yeah, there must be some kind of connection. And indeed, there is a connection that I'm going to make. And there is a reason why, when we're looking at John chapter 6, we're going to enact what happens a little bit ourselves. We're going to use our bodies, to enact what Jesus is teaching. But I'm going to make in this sermon a little bit of a different kind of connection that I hope will make sense to you and might answer some questions. And it might even help again with how do we use this, how do we apply any of this. Okay, so Jesus walked across the water back to the west side of the lake. The next morning, all these crowds, where is Jesus? Where are the disciples? The boats are gone, what's going on? So they figure out, okay, let's go back and try to find Jesus. So they do, and this dialogue, we're told later on, is going to happen in the synagogue in Capernaum. So this is not where Jesus grew up as a child, but this is now where kind of is Jesus' home base, where people know him. If there's now for Jesus his town, it's Capernaum. Jesus is there, and a lot of these people are going to be people who have known Jesus for a number of years. Some of them probably knew Jesus when he was, a young boy helping his father, build houses and so forth. But that's where this is going to happen. And so these crowds find Jesus, and first they ask, when did you get here? So Jesus doesn't answer that question, but Jesus is going to begin to challenge them. And all through Jesus' dialogue, he's, like we looked at the last couple of weeks, he's not going to let people remain too comfortable. Okay? He's going to push people. In fact, he's going to push them pretty hard in this dialogue he's going to have with them, to challenge them, to get them to think, to get them to set their own priorities, and to also to reveal their heart, what's going on in their heart. And so, so the first thing he says to them, one of the reasons all you guys are here is you simply want more bread. Someone gave you bread and fish. That was nice. You didn't have to pack your own lunch. Isn't that nice? When you're a kid, your mommy packs your lunch for you, and that's always better than making your own lunch. And they're thinking, wow, Jesus provided this. We want more of that. So part of the reason people are pursuing Jesus is he is literally a free lunch. Okay? So Jesus says that's, it's not mainly even a miracle. It's literally you guys got bread, and you want some more of that. So Jesus says, don't work for that kind of food. That kind of food spoils. But work for, seek for, long for the food that endures to eternal life. And so they ask, what is that? What is that work? So Jesus says in verse 29, the work of God is this. Believe in the one he has sent. Believe in the one he has sent. Of course, that's Jesus. And we've talked about that. This is the main thing John tells us about Jesus. He's sent. He was sent by the Father. Jesus says, the work of God is this. You've got to believe in me. You just have to believe in me, Jesus said. You just have to. And again, I'm not going to look at all the details of this dialogue. I just want you to just to see how much when Jesus talks, it's, in a sense, this, as I'm going to say these words, it's going to sound like Jesus being selfish. It would be selfish. If these were my own words about myself, that would be an incredible ego for me to say this. But this is what Jesus is saying, because Jesus is life. Okay? And he's going to point to himself. And he's saying, I am the bread, like we saw. He's the light. And if he's the only light, you've got to get that, okay? And if people are going to have life, they've got to go to the only source of bread, and that's Jesus. And so Jesus has to say that. So he's just going to keep going back and back to this. In verse 32, Jesus says, I tell you the truth. It wasn't Moses who gave you the bread from heaven. And we'll come back to that incident. Because, they're remembering that Old Testament miracle of, the manna that every morning they'd get up and God provided the bread to eat. And Jesus saying, it wasn't really Moses who gave you that bread that you needed. It's my Father who gives you the true bread from heaven. The true bread of God is He who comes down from heaven and gives life to the world. The true bread of God is not bread. It's Jesus. And even that manna in the wilderness in the Old Testament, it was from God. But it was bread. It was just bread. And it sustained life for a day. But it didn't give the people eternal life. The bread can't do that. Jesus does. And again in verse 35. I am the bread of life. He who comes to me will never go hungry. He who believes in me will never be thirsty. So Jesus says it directly. I am the bread of life. I am the bread of life. And if you come to me, you're not going to go thirsty. Like the woman at the well in John chapter 4. She was looking for living water, and it was Jesus. And if you're looking for living bread that gives real life, eternal life, it's Jesus. And so he says directly, I'm that bread. And if you want this spiritual life, then you've got to come to me. And my point here in the first part of this dialogue is simply to say that the focus is on Jesus. Okay? And I know I'm repeating myself, I would say I'm a broken record, but most people don't even know what a record is anymore. Where it goes around and it's, honestly, I don't know if some people even know what a broken record is. But, where it keeps skipping back and repeating itself. And for weeks I've been saying this, it's about Jesus, and it's because it's about Jesus. Okay, the Gospel of John is about Jesus. There's no way of talking about the Gospel of John without saying it's all about Jesus. This dialogue is all about Jesus. The focus is on Jesus. I hope that's not a surprise in the church that we're talking about Jesus. There's lots of ways in which it's nice to accommodate things to people, but in the church, you've got to talk about Jesus. So Jesus is focusing on himself. And then, as the dialogue goes on, you can see different problems that people are having. I've already mentioned a couple of them. Some that they just want more signs, more miracles, and that's kind of foolish because Jesus has already done some miracles, and that has already excited them, and they're like, but maybe some more. Make it easy for us, Jesus. Maybe give us a bigger, more overwhelming sign, and then our faith will be easy. And then again, some people literally just want the bread. They want the lunch. But another problem that emerges in this dialogue is that some people are thinking, who is this guy? I mean, we know him. We grew up with him. We know his mom. We know who his father was. Who does he think he is? Have you ever heard that? Who does he think he is talking like that? Who does he think he is drawing attention to himself? We knew Jesus when he was kind of a little boy running around, with a dirty face and that kind of thing. There was nothing so special about Jesus growing up in Nazareth and Capernaum. I mean, he really did just look like a typical boy. 12-year-old Jesus didn't run around doing miracles. Okay? I mean, there are stories about the miracles that Jesus did, but they're inventions. He had that dialogue in the temple, but generally, when Jesus was a teenager, he wasn't in the synagogue teaching then. He probably could have. But that's not what these people saw. They just saw a typical kid growing up. And who does he think he is now? He's a carpenter. Might be a good carpenter. Might be a pretty good guy. I assume Jesus was a pretty good guy. I assume he was reasonably nice. So they might have thought, yeah, sure, Jesus is fine. Okay, but who does he think he is, drawing attention to himself like this? How can he say he is that? How can he say somehow that he's greater than Moses? Who does he think he is? And then there's also this kind of ongoing problem people have is taking his words too literally. The woman at the well, oh, it's water. And first she's thinking, I want physical water that I can keep drinking. The disciples still struggle with this and often think Jesus is talking at a very literal level, when in fact he's using literal physical things to point to something else. Okay, so these are some of the problems that people are having, and unfortunately, Jesus doesn't necessarily make it easier for them. Okay, because these problems probably reveal something that's wrong with their heart, and Jesus is driving there. So in verse 47, Jesus just keeps hammering this. I tell you the truth. He who believes has everlasting life. And then he says again, I am the bread of life. I am the bread of life. Your forefathers ate the manna in the desert and they died. They ate that physical bread from God. It was physical bread and they died. But here's a bread that comes down from heaven, which a man can eat and not die. I'm the living bread that came down from heaven. If anyone eats this bread, he will live forever. This bread is my flesh, which I will give for the life of the world. Again, a reference that they're not going to get yet to his own crucifixion. He will literally give his life for the life of the world. A little more dialogue, and the people are questioning, again, very literally, how can you give us this flesh to eat? We're not, we're good Jewish people. There's a lot of kinds of flesh we don't eat, especially human flesh. What is this guy saying? Jesus just makes it harder for him. He said, I tell you the truth. Unless you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you have no life in you. Whoever eats my flesh and drinks my blood has eternal life. And I will raise him up the last day. For my flesh is real food, my blood is real drink. Whoever eats my flesh and drinks my blood remains in me, and I in him. Just as the living Father sent me, and I live because of the Father, so the one who feeds on me will live because of me. This is the bread that came down from heaven. Your forefathers ate the manna and died. But he who feeds on this bread will live forever. Jesus doesn't, make it easier. He puts it almost in more crude terms. You've got to eat me. You've got to feed on my flesh if you want life. Now, before we try to unpack that and figure out, what's going on and how we can use this and even how it relates to the Lord's Supper, it might be helpful in sorting this out to think quickly about some of the Old Testament background and what's going on here in this dialogue. And one important text, in fact, of the three texts I'm going to give you, this one was probably in Jesus' mind as he's talking, and probably the people he's talking to thought of this text from Deuteronomy, from the 5th book of Moses in the Old Testament, where it's talking about the bread that Moses gave, or the Father God gave, through Moses' hand. And in that text, God is talking about how he humbled his people to teach them trust. So it says, he humbled you, and he fed you with manna, which you did not know, nor did your fathers know, that he might make you understand that man does not live by bread alone, but man lives by everything that proceeds from the mouth of the Lord. So real life doesn't come from bread. Not even God-given bread. Okay? That's not where real life comes from. It comes from God. The words of God are the bread. Not the bread. The words of God is the bread that gives life. And especially the Word of God, which we've already found out in John chapter 1, is Jesus. He is the Word. He is the bread that gives life. In Proverbs, wisdom speaks often in the book of Proverbs, and wisdom says, come, eat of my food, drink of the wine I have mixed. Again, that's not literal. Okay, that's a way of referring to pursue wisdom, feed on wisdom, train your mind and your heart to wisdom. It's about what's going on in your mind and what's going on in your heart. And the image is the food and the wine. Just like you, sorry, I saw a lot of you eating and drinking. Okay? That's a natural thing to do. I'm assuming most of you, if you didn't eat when you came here, you had breakfast. If you did have breakfast, you ate some meals yesterday. So it's, you just eat, don't you? Didn't all of you eat this last week? I assume you did, because that's what we all do. It's natural. Of course you eat. Who would, you might hopefully fast for a little while, but you eat. Okay? Same way with wisdom is what the book of Proverbs is saying. As it's natural to eat, it ought to be natural to pursue wisdom. And it's under this image of eating the food that wisdom gives and drinking the wine that wisdom gives. But it's about receiving in the mind and the heart. And then Jeremiah, in the context, it's talking about the importance of Jeremiah keeping the commandments, and that in his work as a prophet, people are going to resist him, and it's going to be hard. But in the midst of that, Jeremiah says to God, "Your words were found, and I ate them." It's the words that he didn't literally tear off pages of a scroll and chew it up. I mean, in spy stories that happens. Someone gets a secret message and then, they chew it up and swallow it. That's not what Jeremiah is talking about. He didn't take scrolls of the Old Testament and literally eat them. Okay, it's talking about what's going on in his mind and his heart. Your words were found, and I ate them. And your words became for me a joy and delight of my heart, because I'm called by your name, O Lord God of hosts. This is challenging because, it's how often do we think, that God's words are actually a joy and delight? I'm glad when I was very young that I got into the habit of reading the Bible every day. I'm glad I grew up in a home and environment where I could do that and did do that, but I'm 57 years old, so probably for 40 years, I've been reading the Bible almost every day. How much of that time, 50, 60, 70% of that has been mainly duty? I'm glad I do it, even as a duty. I'm glad I've made it a habit and I do it. But often it is, I need to do this, so I'm going to do it. I really don't want to spend time doing this, but I'm going to get up early and I'm going to do this. A lot of the time, it's not been a joy and delight. For Jeremiah, I ate your words. And they were, the truth of God was a joy and delight. They were life-giving for Jeremiah. So these are just some texts from the Old Testament that might or might not have been in Jesus' mind, or the minds of the people he's talking to. At least the first text, I think, probably is just, right out there in people's minds in John chapter 6. But these might help us to sort out what Jesus is trying to say with this image of the bread. So, here's another way to look at the relationship between the feeding of the 5,000 and the Lord's Supper. It's not that the feeding of the 5,000 is directly about the Lord's Supper. I think the truth is that both of these are about the same thing. Namely, Jesus. Not just the cross, I'm just using the cross to represent Jesus, but both of these things are pointing to Jesus, not mainly about themselves or about Jesus. They're not related directly in that what Jesus is doing in John chapter 6 is talking about the Lord's Supper. This is pointing to Jesus. And this is pointing to Jesus. It's all about Jesus. It's about Jesus. It's a focus on Jesus. And that's what Jesus is doing in this discourse. He's saying it's about me. Okay, the life is from me. It's not the bread itself that gives life. Now, of course, one of the reasons I'm mentioning this, and I'm not going to talk about it long because I'm not interested in. I try not to spend a lot of time talking about where different churches disagree. Okay, this is an area where different churches have different theology, and I'm not really trying to change anyone's mind about it. I'm not too concerned about other kinds of theologies about this, but in my mind, this is just bread and wine. I don't think it becomes something different. Okay? And nothing, I'm not a priest. Nothing magical is going to happen that will change the bread and the wine. It's bread and wine. Okay? But what it does for us is it points to Jesus. Okay? And all I'm concerned about the Lord's Supper is that we just remember it's about Jesus and not the bread. And not to get a discussion about the bread and the wine. Okay? I myself, I've read lots of books on, there might be a setting where I'm glad to think about that and dialogue about that, but I really just want to say the point is it's about Jesus. It's meant to point to Jesus, not to itself, but to Jesus. It's a tool to get to Jesus. It's to get to Jesus. It's to know Jesus. Okay, so I don't want to say more about that, but everything that's happening in John chapter 6 is about Jesus. Okay, so that's why Jesus is constantly drawing attention back to himself. It's about Jesus. Finally, Jesus does make things a little bit more clear to people toward the end of chapter 6. Some of the disciples said, "Man, that's really hard. Who can accept this?" And Jesus was aware of that, and John says they were grumbling about this. Jesus says, "Does this offend you? What if you see the Son of Man ascend to where he was before?" What's really going to be offensive to them is when Jesus is crucified. That's really going to be the hard thing. But then Jesus says, here it is. The Spirit gives life. The flesh counts for nothing. Okay? The Spirit gives life. The flesh counts for nothing. The words I have spoken. It's the words we need to eat. Words we need to take into our mind and our heart. The words that I have spoken to you, they are spirit and they are life. Okay? So this is fermented grape juice, and this is regular grape juice, and this is made out of flour, and it's just that, but it's a tool to point to Jesus. It's Jesus himself who gives life. This is a tool we're going to use to point to Jesus, to receive the spiritual life we get from chewing on Jesus' words. And so, in practical terms, of course, this is a simple tool we're going to do today just to use our bodies to say it's all about Jesus. But after this Sunday morning, we still need to continue that discipline of feeding on his words and other tools we might use to remind ourselves about Jesus. Life comes from Jesus. And our thoughts, our heart, our mind are fixed on Jesus. Turning off other voices, other devices to remind ourselves the priority is Jesus. I can turn it all off to turn on to Jesus, to receive Jesus in my heart and mind, the spiritual truth from Jesus. There's really simple elementary disciplines. I mentioned reading the Bible every day. Again, it's very simple, and there's always that danger. It just becomes a duty. I'm quite aware of that. But on the other hand, man, what an easy way just to every day spend some time with Jesus in his Word. And then practice talking to him. It might be hard at first, because you might feel like, is he listening? Okay, I've not seen the vision of Jesus. Okay, so it's very easy for me to think, is he even listening? But I talk to him. Okay, or try to. It's not easy for some of us. Okay, but I'm trying to remember, he's a living person. It's about Jesus. So many of his disciples ceased to be disciples. In the Gospel of John, the word disciple is used for people who are on, different lengths in their journey with Jesus in different places. They're literally following Jesus and kind of interested, but not all are really committed. And so some fall by the wayside. They were following Jesus, no longer. So Jesus looks at the 12. He says, what about you guys? Do you want to leave also? What are you going to do? Simon Peter answered him, Lord, to whom are we going to go? You have the words of eternal life. We believe and know that you are the Holy One of God. Peter is still a very weak guy, okay? I mean, he's got lots of problems coming up, lots of failures coming up. But when he looks around and he looks at other options, he just says, there's nothing else. I can't find anyone else that's better than you. Okay, we've come to know this, and we're sticking with you. You've got the words of eternal life. Who else are we going to go to? I sometimes ask myself that question. Who else would I go to? I mean, there are some times when I get discouraged in the faith. I mean, for me, it's often, when I see and hear sometimes things Christians do and so forth, and I'm like, man, is this even true? Can I find something else, something better? Because right now, this doesn't seem real to me. But, I mean, always, I come back to that question, where am I going to go to? Where else? I can't find anyone else who compares to Jesus. I really can't. I just can't. I can't think of anyone who compares to Jesus. So Peter says, who are we going to go to? You're it. Jesus took the loaves, and having given thanks, he distributed to those who received it. Likewise also the fish, as much as they wanted. As I read John 6 and try to figure out what is it that John is trying to say, what is the connection he is making between the feeding of the 5,000 and this dialogue that Jesus has, I think this is John's point, and it's pretty simple. Jesus gives life like he makes bread. Jesus gives life like he makes bread. More than enough. More than enough. There's plenty of life in Jesus. No one can ever needs to worry that if I come to Jesus, will I be accepted? There's plenty of life, more than enough, and baskets left over that doesn't worry Jesus. I mean, I don't want to get into the theological debate here, but for some people wonder, if Jesus died for everyone, then, why doesn't everyone believe? And isn't the blood of Jesus wasted, if everyone doesn't believe? So some people come to the conclusion Jesus did die for everyone. He only died for the people who will actually be saved. There's lots of reasons why I do not accept that doctrine. But one of them is this. Jesus gives life like he makes bread. More than enough. There's more than enough life for the 7 billion people on the face of the earth. I'm not saying they're going to experience life. Okay? They have to choose. They have to make Peter's choice. I'm just saying there's life available for them. For people on every continent, every culture, there's more than enough life available. And there's life available to you right now in this room. More than enough life. If you want it, it's available. Jesus will not say no. Jesus will not say, stay away. He will say, you can come to me for life, as long as we realize it's about Jesus. It's about Jesus. Okay? It's not mainly the bread and the wine. This is a way of remembering it's about Jesus. Now, in a moment, we're going to sing a song. And then after the song, I don't think I'm going to say any words, but as soon as the song is done, I want to invite you to come up if you would like. Okay, there's bread here. You can take off the piece. You can take off as much as you want. I encourage you not to take off a little piece. Take off a big enough that you can chew it a little bit. To remember, it's Jesus. You don't want a little bit of Jesus, do you? Okay, so take off enough that you can experience the bread. In the big cups, this is wine, if you would like wine. In the little cups here, it's grape juice. If you prefer to use grape juice, it's your choice. Okay, but after the song, just when we're done, you can come up, and if you want to eat the bread and drink here, and then go have a seat, you can do that. If you want to take the bread and the juice to your seat and just sit down so you can think about Jesus a little bit, it's up to you, okay? It's about how you can think through what this experience means in terms of taking Jesus, receiving Jesus. Okay? For us, I mean, it might make some people uncomfortable. We exercise an open table. Okay, I'm not judging where you are spiritually and what your relationship is to Jesus. Okay, all I want to say is, in my mind, it's about Jesus. If it's Jesus that you want, then you're welcome to come. Okay, does that make sense? That's how you can test yourself. If you want Jesus, if it's Jesus that you want, then you're free to come. You don't have to fix everything first, okay? Jesus fixes it. You come to Jesus first, okay? He gives life, and when you have the life of Jesus, then transformation happens. Okay, so that's my only qualification, is that you remember it's about Jesus. It's an act we do to remember Jesus. Beyond that, you make your choice. If you, for whatever reason, want to remain seated, that's okay. There's no judgment. There's times when I just feel like I remain seated. So there's no judgment about that. Okay, so we're going to sing. In fact, Isaac, you guys can come up and get ready to sing.